Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be having some fun today. We've got several guests. If Lauren shows up, she's supposed to be here in a minute, so we'll see. Let me see if I can get this thing to work.
It is a light crowd today.
It is, but they'll be probably do the rolling in. So we're going to do our core value, and then Jeff Hardin is going to have some information for us. Here's our core value number 5. We reject the status quo and encourage innovation. We hate complacency and are always looking for ways to do what we do better. Our team members are encouraged to think outside the box and innovate. As a company, we pivot fast and often, always looking for ways to improve and find the better way. Sort of kind of what I'm doing with small steps, big results. Learning new things, learning new ways to accomplish what our goals are. I think that everybody here really does work on that, and I'm really proud of you guys for doing that. Good morning, Kristen. I have mail for you, and Victoria, I have mail for you too. I saw you come in. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Hardin brought us breakfast this morning, and he is with Akoya Insurance. And is it Akoya? Akoya. So, Jeff, I'm going to hand you the presenter. It's that big button right there, and that's your slide.
Perfect. All right, guys. Brian, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. A little bit about myself. My name is Jeff Hardin. I have Akoya Insurance Services. I've been in insurance now for about 10 years. In 2013 or 14, my longtime business partner and I sold the business. So I started looking for our new adventure, and I knew I wanted to do something that was residual income based that kept coming back around to insurance. So I tried to buy some independent insurance agencies, but I soon learned that since I had zero experience, there were zero carriers that were going to give me an appointment, right? So I had a friend of mine that was a regional or district manager for farmers. He had 3 or 4 agencies for sale, so I bought one of those. And I kept it for 5 or 6 years, but 2 or 3 years into it, I realized, okay, our numbers are pretty good. Our loss ratios are pretty good. I bet we can get some appointments now with the carriers. So due to some contractual obligations I have with farmers, my wife got her license, and we formed an LLC. So at the time we're forming the LLC, I was like, okay, Donna, what do you want to call it? Well, at the time, her dad was dying of cancer, and he was one of the most amazing men I've ever known. Wonderful human being. But his name was Grady Earl Hall, and she wanted to call it, and Donna's mom always called him Grady Pearl. So she wanted to call it Pearl Insurance after her dad. Well, Pearl Insurance was taken by the Secretary of State. So she chose Akoya, which is the top of the pearl, in honor of her dad. So that's how the name kind of came about. About 2 years ago, I was having dinner in Dallas with some guys from Progressive, and he goes, hey, man, how'd you come up with that name? What is that? I told him the story, and he goes, you need to start telling that story. So there it is. That's how our name came about. So now on to insurance. So obviously insurance is a mess right now, right, in Texas. So how did we get here? So back in 2019, this is national, not just Texas. There were $38.7 billion cat-related losses, weather losses throughout the country, right? So 2019, the carriers have already rated for 2020. So in 2020, they're rating for 38 to 42 billion in losses, but they have 81 billion. Well, now at this point, they've already rated for 2021. They're still rating for 40 to 45 billion in losses, and they get 92 billion again. So now they're behind the 8 ball trying to play catch up. And that's kind of what started the whole thing. Let's see, and then in Texas, as you can see, we went from 2018, we had 3 billion, 2 billion, 2 billion, and then we had to do freeze, right, in 2021, and it went to 18 billion in claims. So that's kind of what got the Texas carriers behind the 8 ball.
Never knew that.
What's that? I'm sorry?
I never knew that.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Those numbers are astounding.
They are just crazy. So we went from, in 2012, 3.32 billion in weather-related losses to 13.5 billion in 2020. And autos, same type thing. They doubled over 10 years, and they just couldn't seem to catch up. So I don't think anybody knows anything about reinsurance. So what reinsurance is, Travelers or Safeco, pretty much all of them, will go to Warren Buffett's company or Lloyd's of London and say, okay, if there's a catastrophic storm in Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth, we want to pay the first, hypothetically, 500 million, where the number is. We want you guys to carry everything else. Well, as you can see, when those losses happened in 2020, 21, 22, it wasn't just the carriers that got hammered, the insurance companies got hammered as well. So what happened was the reinsurance guys, they're big boys, right? It's Berkshire Hathaway, Lloyd's of London, they don't have to do insurance. They have enough money, they can go invest in trains or whatever they want to invest in, planes, whatever. So a lot of those guys pulled out and just said, hey, we're not going to do reinsurance anymore. So when that happened, the reinsurance cost rose from 14% to 25% to 34% increases over the next couple of years, and that's if they could get it. So now the insurance companies are getting hammered with losses. They can't get reinsurance. So now the market starts to tighten up. So, of course, a bunch of my bankruptcies here. This is my favorite slide. When I bought my first independent insurance age 2020, on the left-hand side, those were the carriers we had access to. If you go from right here over. In 2024, those are the ones that were left. Everyone else but BK either because of the losses or because they could not get reinsurance. Now, the good news is, in the last 12 months, these guys have come back in. So it's starting to get a little bit better as time goes on. I know you guys we're talking about landlord policies earlier. Same thing. In 2020, I had 15 carriers that write landlord policies in Texas. Now that in Dallas-Fort, or they were writing Dallas-Fort Worth. Now there's 3 or 4. As a matter of fact, Allstate was our office probably 6 months ago. He said, "Hey, Travelers is pulling out of the landlord policy in Texas. They're going to non-renew like 600,000 or 700,000 policies." He goes, "As soon as our bosses at Allstate figure out that Travelers is pulling out, and we're going to get that much more volume, we're going to pull out." So about a month ago, he called and said, "Hey, it's coming. If you have something to bind on landlord policies, bind it now." Like 3 weeks ago, we get the email, no more landlord policies. So for those of you that deal with investors.
All right, is that period or just for these countries?
All right, so in Texas, there's probably 10 people still writing landlord policies, right? In the big 4 counties, Tarrant, Dallas, Denton, and Collin, there's 4 at the most. So if you have investors, what used to be an afterthought was insurance, right? Shop early, because it could be the difference between being cash flow positive and cash flow negative. It's not just an afterthought anymore.
The price went up too.
Yes,
That's true.
exactly. So that's the big challenge is, especially in Dallas, Denton, Tarrant, and Collin counties, is all the carriers that are left. And then what happened was the ones that were left didn't have the capacity to handle all the volume. So they started tightening underwriting and raising deductibles and doing whatever they could to get profitable. So what it comes down to is shop early and make sure that you know that you're going to get a good deal for your customer. Much like you guys, I mean, obviously you guys are an advisor to your customers to guide them through the whole process, whether it be title, insurance, whatever. That's what I would like to be for you guys as an advisor. I'll leave my cards here. You guys, if you have questions about insurance, floodplains, whatever, feel free to call, text, anything you want to do. If you have customers that have questions, even if they're not a customer of mine, I'll be more than happy to help you. One thing I can leave you with now is if you have a buyer or a seller, it's about roof, and roof. Right? So the days of the insurance companies getting a seller, the days of me getting a seller's disclosure statement and saying, "Hey, the roof is 2022, and me telling the insurance company that's not good enough for them a lot of times. So if you have a seller that says the roof was replaced in the last 4 or 5 years, you tell your seller, get the document.
I just had that this morning. I'm representing buyer, and this agent called and said, "I need the report."
Yes, and then that way, when you do get a contract, you send everything over to send the roof replacement invoice with them as well. That way, when they go shop for insurance, they have it. I've had it probably happen 10 times in the last 2 months to where we wrote a policy, and we said the roof was done in 2023. They close, we bind the policy, they move in, the carrier sends an inspector out to the house 30 days later. The inspector tells the carrier that roof is not 3 years old. That's so now the carrier sends your buyer a letter that says, "Hey, we need documentation that roof has been replaced in the last 4 or 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, or we're going to change their policy to actual cash value on the roof." And I've seen it happen a bunch.
That happened in the Emerald Park just like last month.
Yes, it's all the time. And you know what? And they're not wrong. I mean, people lie about the roof here all the time, right? So, but that's what's driving their losses is roof claims. So any kind of documentation you can get, and the same thing when you're representing your buyers. If someone says the roof's 3 years old, you say, "Show me," because that's from what's going to protect your buyer. Obviously, everyone's gone up to 2% deductibles on wind and hail. Allstate's still writing 1% deductible on wind and hail. Allstate's a little too cheap right now, so just a heads up on that. So if you get a chance, maybe shop with Allstate, which we have Allstate. They're a little too cheap. So they're a good carrier. They're the only ones I know writing 1% deductibles. Everyone else is 2, 3, 4% deductibles. So that's another thing with your buyers. Maybe prep them that, hey, explain to them, hey, the days of 1% deductibles are pretty much over. So you might want to have 10 or 15,000 in your pocket in case you have a roof claim. Prep the buyers, their sellers, if the roof is old, that, hey, if you really want to sell this house, you may have to replace the roof. And that's just kind of where we are.
Is there any other documentation that will spot
No.
besides like a receipt for?
A certificate of completion will work
Okay.
from a roofer or the paid invoice. And that's all those.
And a standard of the type of roofs now, I know that there's been like some talk about the type to
Mhm.
make sure it's insurable.
Right.
What does that look like again? It's like a
Three tab.
3 tab, the
It's like
2.
4 tab, right?
State Farm quit writing 3-tab roofs probably this time last year.
Okay.
A lot of other carriers will still write them. But once again, they're going to want documentation that's less than 15 years old, because obviously a new roof can withstand a hailstorm a lot better than an old roof can.
Right.
But yeah, State Farm quit writing the 3-tab roofs about a year ago.
Okay.
But architectural shingles, that seems to be the big one now. Metal roofs. So what I tell a lot of my customers now to have metal roofs is most of the carriers are not going to cover cosmetic damage. It has to be structural damage, right? So structural damage is hail hits on the stain, it's going to leak. Well, most of the carriers now are only going to replace the one sheet that's damaged. So if you have a metal roof, why not go with the higher deductible to save some money, just because we're replacing 1 or 2 sheets is going to be under your deductible anyway.
Can we thank Jeff for breakfast this morning?
Thank you, guys.
That's all. That was great presentation.
Yeah.
Like the stats and data. I'm kind of a data guy.
I'm with some cars out here, guys. If you have any questions, give me a call. And I would love to work with you in the future. Thank you. It's nuts.
What is that?
It's
Oh,
just-
I got a La La Land. It's like a banana cloud.
Oh,
It already had some in there, but I wanted a little extra. Kind of more calories.
Yeah.
My curling iron. I put some like oil, like every like balms and stuff that was bad. Like,
Go ahead and since you're standing there. So Jenny has something he'd like to share with you guys. So you'll give Jenny your attention, please.
Hey guys. That was interesting. One kind of new thing that we're doing internally is we have not historically done a good job of tracking closed clients, and if they become like a construction client down the road, or if they reach out for other services, because we have folks that like will close a house with an agent and then like 7 years later reach out for like a kitchen or something. We just not track. We just historically haven't tracked any of that. And so one thing we're doing, it's on sort of the CDA process, is just keeping a database of like past closing clients, and also just adding them to our email list. I send like emails and like, everybody get my email newsletters.
I unsubscribe. I
did.
Maybe you have to subscribe. I'll add all y'all on there. Anyways, I just get an email like twice a month. I'm pretty proud of it. It's been good.
It's been really good.
We've gotten some leads from it, and the next 2 ones are like about the current market. Anyways, we're going to add them just to our email newsletter. So I just wanted to let y'all know. And so part of the reason we're doing it is if someone reaches out like on the website or whoever and says, hey, I want, can we get a bid?
Do you want to connect?
Yeah, so you can get, part of the thing is we want to pay you for leads. And so if someone was your client, even if you didn't directly refer them, but they come in and want a quote on it, like you want to make sure you get a commission and get that. So I just want to let y'all know we're doing that. And we haven't ever tracked that before. And so we have had some of that where like someone comes in years later and it turns out it was one of buy and sold clients. And anyways, we just want to make sure like here's where it's coming from. And all your guys like follow us on Instagram, and people reach out in all sorts of different ways.
Do you already have like maybe a first run email that like, let's say you're going to go and add my past clients for the last year.
Mhm.
Do you have an email that's like almost an introductory email so that they're not just all of a sudden
So
getting?
I'm not adding anyone any of your old apps. It'd be too much work, and I feel like it's a little weird. For like 2 years later, like you start getting a 6th Avenue email.
Okay.
It's only moving forward, and I have an email that we're gonna send a few days after. Basically, when we get their email, they'll get like an email from us that says, "Congratulations on your closing with Clarissa.
Got it. Okay.
We hope it was great. Welcome to 6th Avenue family.
Love it.
If you ever need construction design, let us know."
Okay.
So we get like
Yes.
some sort of intro that says that, it'll have your name on it. And then basically just get.
Instead of them just being added in and then all of a sudden
Getting-
receiving like
Patty, go ahead.
volume number 60 of your email.
Patty's raised her hand. Patty, you want to come on and talk?
Yeah, and just to piggyback a little bit, and I think that's wonderful, Jamie, to do that. And to piggyback a little bit on Clarissa's thoughts is there a way, first off, where does this information come from? Is it from ReachAt when we enter in deals? So if you don't have an email there, you wouldn't necessarily have an email to send this letter out to. But I think for me, because I do this, I'm sorry, I do the same thing. Go ahead.
We're gonna CDA request.
Okay, so it's coming from the CDA, which is populated by ReachAt. Okay,
Correct.
so to avoid confusion, obviously, and to maybe even alert us in case I have a CRM and my CRM I contact them on every anniversary date, but I think it's great that 6th Ave wants to do it too. I just don't want there to be confusion about who is who and where a reply might go to. So is there a way to also CC the agent so that goes into the agent so that if it's replied to, or if you don't have good follow-up and you forgot, it would give you also a reminder. So kind of servicing the agent as well. Is that impossible to do, or is that something that can be done?
That's a good question. I don't know.
You have to put a secondary email under each contact.
That would be entirely too complicated.
Yeah. So the only marketing we would be doing to them is just the 6th Avenue email newsletter.
How are you feeding the newsletter? Are you doing like, you have a template and then it pulls from a certain database?
We use HubSpot for our CRM, so I think we have like 4,000 to 5,000 contacts, people who are old clients of ours, and leads, we have those PDFs on our website. 10 things you should know about. I don't know if you've ever seen it. We have like a bunch of free resources on the website. And so there's probably like, I think 4,000 or 5,000 people that are on our email list.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a value to what Patty is talking about.
Yeah,
So
but I don't think there's any,
from HubSpot, you don't have another cache that you could pull the CC from, which is,
well, you would, no, because it's just like an email newsletter from this is the 6th
so
Avenue.
it's a generic.
Yeah, it's not like a custom. It's just like, here's the thing.
Yeah, so Patty, it's not comes from you.
It's not.
Yeah, it comes from me, but if someone responded and was like, hey, I want to buy a house again or something, or hey, I'm interested in construction stuff, then I now have it tracked. I'm like, this was Danielle's client.
Right.
And then I
Yeah,
would
just a Danielle.
Yeah. So your purpose really is tracking.
Yeah, it's really tracking. We just haven't done that.
You haven't optimized.
Yeah, we haven't done any of that, and I think the email newsletter is
I think it's an amazing idea. We've been using it to send to our
and
clients.
if you like, I don't want my clients getting that, or I don't want to do that, that's totally fine too. You can say
Opt out.
opt out. Don't hurt my feelings.
Patty, do you have another comment before we move on?
Yeah, just one more comment. I don't get a copy of the 6th Ave newsletter. Is there a way I can get on the list for that just to see what clients see?
Okay. Yeah, maybe I guess I assumed everyone in the organization was getting it.
That might be
I
maybe part of
subscribed to it
the,
when we
You
first-
subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just add you all on there.
probably part of the.
I get it.
I asked a question, part of the onboarding sound like negative,
Yeah.
but I want to ask.
Yeah.
How did you, as the eyes of 6th Ave, but everybody, you've been in Fort Worth forever. How did that work with as agents also trying to send out newsletters. You know, part of what we were supposed to do this year was have a newsletter for us as agents. And when I got your first email, I was like, why does Jamie have the emails and we don't have the emails? And so what's the differentiation between like what you're sending out and what we would potentially be sending? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I would, so a couple of things. So philosophically, and we've tested different things. Like we've been around long enough. We've done various versions of an email newsletter over the past 8 years. Some are good, some are really bad, and then we stopped doing it for like a year, and then we picked it back up, and it died again. It's a part of me coming back in. I was like, I want to pick this back up. Philosophically, I think an email coming from like a specific person feels more human, authentic, real. So I just have been like, Jamie, co-founder of 6 Avenue Homes, coming from me. And it's been everything from, I try to do a balance of like construction, design, pool, brokerage, and kind of rotate through those. And I've also been putting the coffee and real estate. Our newest, at the bottom of the emails, our newest episode just came out. Check it out. It's kind of just generic, you know. There's been some about paint advice. There's been some about, we did a couple about like, you know, we offer free CDAs if you want to know how much your home is worth. The one I'm doing, I think comes out this week and next week, is about like how I think it's a buyer's market. If you ever bought, it's now the best time to buy. And it's like call to action is, if you want to talk to a great agent, we have great agents, and then you know. But you've gotten a few kind of feeds and we just sent out from that. So all that being said, it's just like a 6 Avenue Homes newsletter, not a drip campaign, or not an intentional like lead oriented conversation.
And I will say to you, like, so we haven't talked about it, but I think we may opt out only because we've been using yours to send out to our
We
sphere.
have your content.
We do, and
Great.
just send it out on our own.
Yeah, we just take it, flip it, personalize it, and then put it back out.
But you can, yes, yeah, and take it. So but we're not doing anything on like, so my assumption was is if you have your own database, you should be doing some more intentional, newsletters or, I am a fan of on the micro level, just, doing more of like, hey, saw y'all went to Disneyland, how you doing kind of stuff, than a big picture newsletter, especially like y'all get it from like the lenders, we get these really generic, all the lenders, all the insurance folks and stuff. No, all the things that but we did make templates that you can use in ReachAt if you want to generate your own content. But the content from 6 Avenue Homes is just kind of generic, and I have it coming from me simply because I wanted to have a face with it. If anybody's like, I really want to write a guest email newsletter, I would love it. I'll let you write a newsletter for us. But does that answer the question, or is there still a rub?
No, I mean, I just thought it was, like, I saw it come through, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
But he got the newsletter, not us. Just because I didn't know, I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, so was the expectation that we were gonna like write individual?
I think what she's talking about is last year, we talked about kind of office-wide having emails and things like that you could.
They're in there.
Yeah,
They're in ReachAt.
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't gotten a meeting together where we show how to implement or whatever, but they're there. So if anybody wants to go in and edit it,
Was there still some kink about getting them out?
No.
Jimmy was talking about.
they're done. They're done.
They're in their newsletters, aren't they?
Yeah. So if anybody wants me to show them, I can definitely show y'all after the meeting where it's at. But they're there and they're ready.
Okay, so maybe that was missing link because.
Yeah. We just need to have
Yeah, we made templates. So I had a graphic designer make templates in ReachAt, right?
Oh, I love that.
So I
Okay.
So they're there. I partnered with ReachAt and that's done. That was done about a month ago. We just haven't we haven't all gotten together about implementation. But they are there. If you're tech savvy or want to get me after the meeting, I'll definitely show y'all where it's at.
I think that was the rub.
Okay,
It was like, we're supposed to have this thing, and then there were all these keys, and then yours rolled out, I was like, if they're not a key, like, What am I
Yeah.
missing?
And the Sixth Avenue one is through HubSpot,
Yeah.
which is different. So we use
And
HubSpot.
that is, I would say like the clarity part is your newsletter is a 6 Ave overview to where you're staying top of mind for 6 Ave. The reach out thing is for us to be able to use on our own. So we're getting double exposure. So I don't think there was any rub. I think it was just that all the stuff that we were dealing with reach chat and just all the design stuff. I was trying my best, but I'm not a graphic designer. So it was that hold up, and then, but that's just like a 6 Ave thing. So they can be used cohesively together because it's two different branches.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes, that's
Okay.
why I wanted to-
I'll show you after the.
And it-
Yeah, Kristen, you
And it
know.
might be worth to, we should probably do like another AI combo in tandem with that, because I built like Sixth Avenue custom GPT. That's like, it's like trained with all our language stuff.
Oh, you already, yeah.
But you could use that. You can save like custom GPTs.
I think that'll be good, and also just kind of.
'Cause then you could kind of write your own email newsletter using something that's already
I
trained.
love that in ChatGPT. Yeah, it's just kind of waiting for it. Also, can you use Flowdesk? Now is a great, if you don't use Flowdesk. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Let's keep going. I'll send an email out about this, and then if you have like one chat, questions, opt out, use whatever your ideas, then we can, would that be good?
Maybe,
Yeah.
would you, start a Slack channel, just so the discussions are flowed and.
Not yet. I mean, yeah.
I can do Slack.
Just a chat.
Okay. Or would Slack be easier email? I feel like
Email.
Just a note.
Like Slack, sometimes stuff gets lost.
Yeah.
I agree.
Where do you get your stuff?
I know, but he's more important than me.
That's true. No, so I'll shoot an email out. And if you want to Slack me directly, we can also chat.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right, Lauren. So I pulled your files down for you to talk about.
Can you show the other picture?
The picture.
Yeah. Oh, no, God. No, absolutely. You know how I feel about that.
She wants her picture back.
Absolutely not. Stop it. Hi. Good morning. Okay, so what he asked me to do was just come in here and talk to y'all. And so I wanted to do, I actually feel like I'm stealing Kayla's thunder a smidge, because these are her drawings and I'm just gonna show them to you. So I was gonna do a little like education on maybe hiring an architect. So this example that I'm using is actually one of Andrew's clients. You are
Yeah, these are.
right here. Okay. And so what he did is when his clients were purchasing this home, they had a need for architectural services. Obviously, he connected them with us. Hello, but if you are wanting to connect your clients with an architect, there's a couple really important things that I think you guys should know about. And one of the really cool things that we do as a standard is provide options for our clients. So every time we do a floor plan, no matter how little, if it's a little hall bathroom, or if it's like this, which is actually going to be an ADU for his client's parents to move in with them, or it's like a total house. We do 3 options. We do this as part of our fixed cost proposal. A lot of times architects charge maybe by the square foot, or maybe they charge by the hour. So we identify the scope of work right from the get-go, and we give them a fixed cost to do that. And so one of those things that's included in that fixed cost, no matter what, is 3 totally different options for the space. So our clients have a garage, a attached garage. They're going to move their parents into it. And so actually yesterday we had our option set meeting. We also have a really set cadence of meetings, very defined process. That's a great question to ask if you guys are wanting, if your clients are looking at hiring an architect, you're trying to make that connection with them. What does your process look like? How does it start? What are your deliverables? What is that going to look like? Our very first deliverable is their option set from an architectural standpoint. So we had, I don't know how much it was, only like, it was less than 600 square feet. And these, our clients' parents are going to try to move in here, multi-generational living. And so you can kind of see Kayla put together 3 totally different options for them. They've got living room, washer and dryer, bedroom, bathroom, and a galley kitchen here. Brian, you can go to the next slide. Cool. We have, again, a great room. They have we're able to vault the ceiling in there just because of the existing structure, which is really exciting because it's already such a small space. So raising the ceiling in there is going to feel good. So we can clarify that. You can see we've got dimensions everywhere. Everything's labeled. It's really clear from this kind of blueprint standpoint what they're getting. This is option 2. And then next one, here's option 3. So that's really cool. They were leaning heavily towards option 1. And option 2, which is all of our favorites, with the dedicated entry, and kind of more of a true like a little eat-in area. It's a really tight space. We're trying to cram option there for them since it's kind of where they're. But also there's a huge house that they're going to be kind of also. And they don't necessarily need to entertain in this space, right? We've got entertaining over here. This is the first thing we do. We draw in a program called Revit. That's a really important question, I think, to ask your architect. Revit is owned by the same company as AutoCAD. AutoCAD is kind of the original program that a lot of these architects draw in. Your architect still drawing AutoCAD is kind of a dinosaur, in my opinion, because Revit does 3-dimensional imagery and AutoCAD only does 2-dimensional imagery. So we're going to go to the next one, actually, if you don't mind. This is one of Kristen Hope's clients. This is a referral, okay? They're also in our process. This is the kitchen remodel, okay? And so the next meeting that we have with our clients after they've kind of picked a floor plan, sometimes that looks like, depending on the scale, a little bit of option 1, a little bit of option 3, or probably in the previous example, they just selected option 2. That's it. That's really where they're leaning. These clients have gone through that process, and their next meeting is actually revision 1. We have 3 revisions built into our process. We identify that from the get-go when we give clients a proposal. They can redo this whole thing 3 times, honestly. They can use those revisions any which way they want. What's cool about revision 3 is they see the exact floor plan. If there were any alterations, say you're merging 1, 2, or 3 together, and then if you go to the next slide, then they get 3Ds. So now these are not fully, like when we use the word rendering, that means it's got color, it's got texture. Your cabinets have a color on them, or if they're stained, they've maybe got a wood grain. We don't do that as part of our process. We're very clear about that from the beginning. It is time consuming and costly and usually not worth the value for your clients. So if an architect's like, you need color renderings, we don't really feel like we need color renderings. So we do these 3Ds. If you want to zoom in, these are extremely.
I can't zoom in.
That's okay. You can zoom into all of these. So like if these were on an iPad or computer, your clients could zoom in. This is the beauty of Revit. Okay, this AutoCAD cannot do this. They would show you the same wall and it would just be a 2-dimensional drawing. And so I think that's why it's important to make sure when you guys are looking to hire an architect for your clients, ask them what program they're drawing in. Okay, there's also like non-architectural programs that I would say are not, they're subpar. They are more for like color rendering, but you can't capture the detail that you can with Revit. There's SketchUp. There's a couple of like little other programs out there that you can use, but Revit is like it. It's the creme de la creme, in my opinion. It's also very expensive. That's why some people don't use it. So you can see here, they have been really, this is really great from a visualization standpoint of like what this space is actually going to feel like. In our meeting specifically, now Kayla's grabbed some screenshots that she feels like capture really well what this space is going to look like for our clients by dropping herself into the program. But she can, in the middle of a meeting, like pull this up on her computer, cast to the TV just like we are now, and like if they're like, I want to see it from this side of the island.
So
or
it's like a metaphor.
Yeah, but like of an imaginary space, right? Like this space doesn't exist yet. We're still conceptualizing our design. So this is really helpful, again, in conjunction with, I think you guys have, Kayla's talked to you guys about finish schedule and also like design boards. Like we're casting vision from a design standpoint with like the tile, but then this is, we're saying, okay, then that tile is going to go there. And so usually the 2 of those things together are enough for clients to sign off on doing the kitchen remodel.
It's gonna be so, I'm excited to see. It's gonna be so good.
It's really cool. This is, they went, hey, like this is the heavy millwork. There's a lot of really cool millwork details. They have tall ceilings. You can see they've got a really cool vent hood. These are some cool units. They have a built-in coffee bar right here. They're doing a built-in banquette. They've got some extra
Change the question real quick.
Yeah.
Ashley, go ahead.
Yes.
Come on and unmute.
Okay, sorry about that. Quick question. Have you heard of Chief Architect? Is that similar?
In my opinion.
It's what?
How you ready?
Yeah.
It sucks.
You know, I don't know how.
No, Bristol Brass.
Chief architect is for people who aren't architects or drafters. I don't like
Wait,
it.
you don't like it? Okay. And then what's the spelling on, you said Revit?
Revit, R-E-V-I-T, Revit. Revit and AutoCAD.
Okay,
They're owned by, it's called Autodesk. And they are
Okay, perfect.
That is all architects should be drawing in.
Okay,
So
thank you.
let's start for joining and
Yeah,
showing, presenting today. Thank you
Any
so
other
much.
questions?
And the kid was the steroid curve.
It is, but that's original feature. Yeah, that's, we are doing a little bit of their entryway. That's why it's
Literally
on there. We're
praise
like,
all because she is my client.
she's been really fine.
Okay, good.
Really good. Speaking of work.
Okay, well, just don't knock on wood now.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Question. So can architectural only be
No.
something?
Kayla's not an architectural, Kayla's a interior designer by degree.
No, I'm
You mean
sorry.
an architect.
So if, let's say I had a client that just needs architectural plans.
Yeah,
if
that's an
And then
offering.
they have somebody else that does the work.
Yes, that's how every single one of my proposals is built, every single one of else clients and all my clients. We never ask for any money for construction until design is completely done. So when you're in our process and you're at this revision meeting, if you don't have to go back. The Kristen's client example, when they have 3Ds, at that meeting, we show them their 3Ds.
Mhm.
We have this meeting up here, like they're about to have with a client, where they're going to show them samples of like tile and flooring and countertops. And we hand them a preliminary bid at that point. And then they usually finish design with us, and then they usually go to construction with us. But since we don't ask for any commitment from a construction standpoint until design is done, they could go with something else.
Okay. And then
I
I'm
would
just
say
paying you for the services of the
we
architectural.
charge a fixed cost fee before
Got
we do, yeah. So I would say I track this rate, and it's like 87 to like 90% of our clients that go through design go to construction with us, or they just don't go to construction because either don't have the money, and so they're waiting to raise funds, or they like move, pretty much.
So what's the fixed cost?
It is based on the size and scope of work.
Ah,
So
okay, it kind of is.
This starts at 3,000, just so you know. It
That's
starts at,
really good.
it's,
With a 3.
I feel like we are, it's honestly, it's just,
That's
design
very
is one giant lead gen for construction. And so, yeah, but I also like, we want to pay for them to pay for themselves, and they do. So, yeah, I would like for people to just go through design and go to construction through us. I know we're, sometimes when we give people these proposals, they like bulk, and I'm like, and go, we charge less than everybody else in town.
So, but if the client knows up front, they do not want to use 6 staff for construction. They
Mhm.
just want design.
Yeah, this meeting they're having right now, this client lives in Waxahachie. I'm not doing that construction.
So I guess where I'm coming from is my husband does construction.
Yeah, and
So if
people use other contractors.
he's not
Yeah,
happy with the
absolutely.
architect that he has used for.
Well,
so
this
I'm
is
like,
when we,
okay.
a lot of times, like somebody has, like we have a client right now that has a brother that's a contractor. Like obviously they're going to use them,
Right.
but like she doesn't trust him to execute any good design. Like she knows
Right,
what he
not-
does,
not
and
all-
so
yeah.
she's like, I need you all to do this, and then I'm going to hand this to my brother, even though they're just like they're just like call bathroom models, not anything crazy. It's not like we're moving anything else.
Right.
And so we knew that from the get go, and that's fine. Like it still worked to us, and we still can provide a service.
So my
We're happy
husband
to
could
do
be
that.
your client for his architectural design.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't mind doing that. And then what I do tell people though is when they do that and then they move on, sometimes we never hear from them again. And we're like, what? Did you do that? And they're like, yeah, we did it. It looks great. And they're like, can we take pictures? And that's because the documents that we generate are so good, in my opinion. We literally never hear from them again.
And I don't know if you've ever had a listing that's like not a great layout, it's kind of a fixer upper. Like I've had clients that were like back in the day, like had a listing, like it's 4 times of what it could look like, and that would help sell it.
We still have to pay for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for them, if that if $3,000 to help sell your house and cast the vision, I'm like, you could.
Well, so I've had, not recently, but even with like, we talked about some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, are there programs? Did somebody, is it SketchUp, is that what we're talking about?
SketchUp, Chief Architect.
So like some of these lower end programs, I know kind of conversation previously, was like, oh, it's not really worth the time. But is there a way, is there a package that we can add into like our listing that says, hey, like for an additional amount, we can do some type of rendering, some type of like, this is what this space could look like. So that
Like
we can-
one option.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's just, that's just basically taking it to like that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not any different than what our existing package would be. I think it would just be
We're just getting $3,000.
like this one, those that I both gave you an example of what we call custom design.
Right.
And it's $3,000 based on the size and scale. So like if it's a total house, that's different than say a kitchen or a bathroom, or maybe like whatever your problem area is.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like the one I sold for over in Park Hill. like,
Yeah.
Hadn't been touched since the 70s, like,
It's like casting some vision of like what it could be.
yeah, I mean, when we sold that, it didn't need to happen, but like I had an insane open house that was really amazing. It had construction there with some type of Trying to use that kind of a rendering.
Yeah, but even that could be helpful, especially if you like printed it out big and you're like, this is what can be done in this space and like a design board and everything like that. Range shading.
But I would say this is like professionally measured. Like, I don't know if you need this.
No, I don't think so. That's what I was
You can use AI, you can use AI
You could use AI.
how to do some of that. I would just do it if I had a Park Hill house and like this is I'm selling it for 700 grand. That's probably a $1.5 million house. And it's like, hey seller, pay $3 grand to get this.
Because it's $3,000, but there's so much value there, and there's making that value of the translate to that.
But unless then you can just use this. There's AI programs that kind of do.
Okay, I didn't know that. That'd be.
Sometimes we even throw our 3D imagery up into ChatGPT because it can render so good, so fast.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. But based off of those 3D, like this, like I could throw that up into ChatGPT and it does a really good job actually.
Is Revit the same as Autodesk? That's kind of what I'm looking up.
Autodesk owns Revit and AutoCAD. They own a bunch of software.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is Autodesk.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so hit the announcements real quick. Next week, we are not going to be doing small steps, big results. We're going to be doing how to be a real estate investor with a 401k. Anna Ferguson from Great Brown Gold is going to come and teach that class for us. So we'll do quick announcements. I'll just have this. Probably won't do much of a market update. And Hannah will do about 45 minutes on that. We may actually go over 11 o'clock. Party on patio, ladies, anything to say?
7:30 to 10 on Saturday, setting up for those that are participating on Friday at 10. We'll do just moving around stuff, getting ready stuff, and then Friday at 10.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Party all night.
Saturday,
You are, we're safe. You're sleeping back.
yeah. And then Saturday at 4, just to set up and get everything ready, bring a change of clothes because it will be warm. To change into for party on patio. And then after the event, if everybody can pitch in because it'll take
30 minutes to clean
if
up.
everybody's pitching in. We still have, I looked this morning, we still have 20 tickets left, which is kind of crazy. That we
Can you tell us if our people have signed up or not too?
Yes,
So
I
we
can
know
try to
who
export
to-
I'll try to export a thing. But music, tacos, splash tattoos, hat bar branding, leather,
Whiskey and bourbon tasting.
cocktails. So it's gonna be fun. So if you haven't signed up yourself, sign up, come join us. But yeah, I'll make myself.
That way we can know if we need to make sure, because people will tell us yes and then not sign up.
Thank you very much, Holly. Thank you, Tasha, for putting that
Yeah,
together.
which it'll be okay. I mean, RSVP, we just try to get, sort of count, but we generally plan for about 125.
Good.
20%.
All right, so if your license is renewing, Angela,
Yeah.
we finally got her license back and active. But if you're renewing before the end of the year, please go ahead and do it as early as they'll let you. You can do it, I think, 90 days in advance. So renew early if your license is coming up, because they are having issues getting things done. They're working about 10 days behind right now. So if you submitted 10 days ago, they're working on that today. So get it done early. If you didn't get an auto pay from Greater Fort Worth or Retrotex, you need to get that done before the end of the month. I don't have to be calling you on October 1st going, please pay, so they don't shut our MLS off. Remember, every 3 years, we have to take the Fairhaven training, which is the every 3-year commitment. We had to do it a couple years ago. Coming back up, so they released Fairhaven 2.0. It's the
I've never heard of that.
I'll show you the rule on Slack this afternoon at the brokerage announcements.
Is it
It's every 3 years you're required to take this training, fair housing.
I think I remember.
The fair housing training is every 3 years, and everybody took it last time, but it's coming back up. We're already almost a year into it, so you got like 2 years yet. I'm just going to hit this once a quarter.
So as a
Remind you to get
brokerage,
it
we all
done.
do it at the same time?
Everybody,
As a brokerage?
No, it's virtual training.
Individually.
Individually, everybody has to do it. Every realtor has to do it to stay current.
I thought
if
it
you
was a
didn't know-
part of Legal 1 and Legal 2, your fair
It is
housing.
not. It is
Oh.
not.
Hmm.
This is
Okay.
completely different. Legal 1 and 2. This is completely separate. This is completely separate from your Texas license. This is NAR. Fair housing.
They shouldn't require us to
Completely
do
separate.
nothing.
It's like, I think it's like a 1 hour training, or maybe 2 hours at max. But yes, I will. I'm gonna put it on my schedule once a quarter. I'll say, have you done your fair housing training? Because it's there, but I created this link so you guys can hit that and it'll take you right into the training on NAR. ReachOut now has QR codes. Have you saw those come out? They're also put in this other Figma. It's kind of,
what is that?
Figma is sounds like it's kind of like, the design, where everybody goes in and puts the design. I can't remember the name right now.
Canva.
Kevin, thank you. It's kind of like that, but they built these platform inside ReachOut and attached it to Figma. So I don't know what that looks like because I don't know anybody that uses Figma. Town hall is coming up the 25th of September, and we will know next week in leadership where we're going to go.
Do they have any ideas, suggestions?
Oh, yeah, we did have a suggestion
What?
for town hall.
I
What,
was talking,
town hall, what did you say yesterday?
I just, you know, something like outdoors, like, look, I'm a hillbilly, look at you, like pigeons.
Oh, that's actually good.
I love stuff like that.
I actually had a great time at Courtside Kitchen. And
Oh, I did too.
Chicken
That
and
was fun.
Pickle, like both of those places were actually like kind of fun. Yeah.
Courtside Kitchen, that's the one over there.
Courtside Kitchen is the one on.
That we went to,
Yes,
like,
uh,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, we might do that.
The weather's finally good.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's covered there.
Yeah, the weather's finally.
Okay,
I'll go anyway.
so let's hit the market update. I am gonna run long today because our guest speakers we've kind of extended that period. So the small steps, big results is gonna run a little bit long. If you have to step out of the limit, I understand. National market update, affordability. Monthly mortgage payments are now lower than a year ago, improving for 2 straight months. That's according to the MBA. The spring routes in Q2, activity is up. 201 of 212 metros, which is good. Purchases involve 90% of the markets. Residential spending rose in July with gains in single-family residential. And then easy takeaway, affordability is improving, buyer activity is broad-based, and builders are active. Last week, stocks ended mixed. Some people up, some people down, fine. The big thing was the jobs report. I don't know if you guys saw that on Friday, but 22,000 new payrolls made unemployment up to 4.3%. Wages were higher. Signs of a slowing but still growing economy, and that's why the rates went down. We'll talk about those in just a minute.
Didn't it come down low?
They
Like
went
very
pretty,
low?
they jumped down and now they're back up. So
Okay.
it's not bad, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Economy's cooling, but it's not stalling. Fed rate cut looks likely in September, which is, I think, next week. So we'll see what happens, but remember, well, I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna do it in just a second. The NBA mortgage applications index, watching it year over year gains continue. I saw a post this morning that like significantly over week this week, because the rate dropped last, so that's good. August price index, expect producer price index started in July. Mortgage activity and consumer confidence rising while inflation looks to stay under control. So this is what I was talking about. Mortgage rates have clearly fallen, yay, but why? Simple answer is this. Rates are down because of weak jobs, labor market data. The data makes investors believe the Fed will cut rates in the future to support the economy. The Fed hasn't cut the rate yet. Markets move ahead of the Fed by pricing and expectations. Think of it like this. Mortgage rates don't wait for the Fed to act. They react to what the data suggests will likely happen next. That's why we're already seeing relief before any official rate cut announcement. Rates are being driven by current economic data, not by what the Fed does. How agents can use this, lower rates, improve affordability, great time to reach out to people that you talked to 6 months ago, a year ago, and they were like, rates are 7, blah, 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 blah. Well, rates are not. Rates are down. So they moved back up a little bit. On Friday, the FHA dropped to 5.95, 30-year fixed, but now it's back up 0.04 yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Still coming about 5.98. I've got clients that locked a new build in Granbury, and they locked it at 5.99. So they are out there. The rates
I
are
got a
there.
Pulte at 499.
The
And,
Pulte?
yep.
Say that again.
I tabled.
I can't believe you won't.
They were at 9, you're at.
Yeah, oh, really? Okay, that's really good. Okay, the market pulse. I've changed the way I did this a little bit to make Clarissa feel a little more comfortable. Something that I wanted you guys to really to think about, because this is really about what is the pulse of our market. That's the whole point of me literally sitting there at the computer and pulling these numbers to get these numbers so you can see on a weekly basis what is the heartbeat of this market. What I want you to notice is I'm putting in, and you guys can go back and look at this when I put the slides up, where you can zoom in, because I know when y'all are sitting there, you can't see these small numbers. Something that's important, that I think is important to all of us, is the number of builders and the amount, the percentage of the market that the builders are making up. When you get down here to Wise County, they are 31% of the market. 29.91% in Wise County are builders. I'm showing them black to you. Tarrant County, it's only 16%. Parker County, 27% of the MLS listings are builders. Denton is 25%, 24.61. We're still seeing the price decreases, but you're seeing the market kind of just staying steady. We're not seeing a lot more houses come on the market. It came down a little bit this week. Dallas went up 1%. So that's, I think 1% can be considered the same, right? But the other ones have come down some. The price decreases have increased a little bit, but they have fallen off the last week. So maybe it's every 2 weeks we're seeing that pulse of, hey, we've been on the market 14 more days, let's drop the price again. Maybe that's what's going on. It's hard to tell exactly who's dropping when, because there are so many houses, 47.6 in our MLS. That's a lot of houses for sale, but that's a lot less than we had in the middle of August.
So is this a downloaded report that you're getting?
No, I'm
Are you
making,
extracting?
I've been doing this.
Okay, there I am.
Now versus you, so she can see the full MLS. We had 5,386 price decreases out of 49,000 houses. Is that a good number to know?
Absolutely.
Can you say that again? I just can't see it.
Well, we had 5,386 price decreases in the last 7 days of 48,000 houses. That's kind of a number that you can be thinking about. It's kind of does math in my head where I'm thinking about how much is going down. That's almost 10% of the market a week. One thing that I did put down here at the bottom is the number of reduced. So 13% of the market reduced this week. Last week we had 10%, the week before 12, the week before 11.98, so 12. Tracking these numbers kind of gives you an idea of just where the market is going, what everybody's feeling. And then we have to track buyers and all that information, but that's not something that I can track here because that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I could do that here in the counties, but that's a lot of data. And I pull this usually on Monday, and then I pull it again on Wednesday. If it's significantly changed, I re-updated this at 4 a.m. this morning.
That's unfortunate if they just can't do that.
They can, and I'm working on them, they would automatically do it, but I go through and put this stuff in here to generate these numbers. Okay, successful people, I did it again. I said, okay, I said I wasn't going to do that. I went back and watched my video last week. Okay, it wasn't. Successful people are persistent. They never give up. If something doesn't work, they try something different. If the prospect says no, they give them a reason to say yes, but they don't pursue the impossible. If prospects aren't ready to buy, or if their demands are unreasonable, they move on. Sometimes. Put a caveat here. I actually did a drip campaign to a guy, and it took 3.5 years before he actually responded to one of my emails, but he did, and he bought it.
Long game, awesome.
Long game.
Yeah.
So that's something that you guys can.
I don't call that persistence, that's tenacity.
The National Association of Home Builders data revealed 2 out of 3 builders offered sales incentives in August, the most so far this year and the highest percent in 5 years, with 40% doing price cuts. Really, really big numbers there. Okay, so that one, I did repeat. This is my cadence, y'all. I'm so sorry.
We'll pinch you.
So
We're not
sorry.
judging. We're not judging.
Well, I'm judging of
I
myself.
didn't even notice it until you mentioned it.
I'm recording it. Now I'm gonna stop recording it. And we're gonna move to, small steps, big results. So thank y'all for joining us for that part. And let me stop the next one now.